the streets of a Jewish ghetto in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe.
I just felt like these are young people. They're in this situation. They must have been furious. You know, they must have just been. I can kind of feel that sense of rage and that sense of defiance. And I think that rock is inherently a music of defiance. It's inherently anti-authoritarian, and it's loud and it's in your face. And I really felt like that was actually the right music. If I was going to give these people a voice, that was kind of the loudest way I could do it.
We're here at the Zeckelman Family Foundation Holocaust Memorial Center in Metro Detroit, but unlike normal trips to a Holocaust center, we're here to see Rise, the rock musical. The true story of the Kesheriot, undercover Jewish women who passed information, food, medicine, and more between the ghettos and the Jewish resistance groups in Nazi-controlled Europe. Performing for a sold-out salon showing of over 300 guests, Rise has been packing theaters from Rochester, New York to the bunkers in Tel Aviv. In fact, the show seems to have sold out nearly everywhere it's been performed, even with only a grassroots level of marketing.
It's just an incredible thing to be a part of a story that just draws people. I've had the privilege of working a fair bit, and it's always kind of a hustle and a sell to get people to come see theater, to get the story that you're telling. And for some reason, there's something at the core of Rise that I think invites interest and excitement and hope, even in the greater circumstances of tragedy and pain.
To hear that it's a rock musical, that's not something that you hear about anymore, and a rock musical about the Holocaust is not something that anyone has heard of before. So it's definitely something that people are very interested in, and I feel like I give a good pitch to my friends and people that I meet on campus, and I've created a big network on my campus to try and get the show actually on my campus, and everyone seems very interested, and they really, really do want this, especially now.
But despite the excitement, award-winning writer, lyricist, guitarist, and composer for Rise, Joshua Daniel Hirschfield, says the grassroots approach is not necessarily by design, but rather because production companies think the Holocaust is apparently too political a topic.
Most places other than Jewish spaces just won't touch it with a 10-foot pole at this point. So we've recently become our own nonprofit. We're producing the show ourselves. We're in discussion right now with the Ebell Center and the Shoah Foundation in Los Angeles to do a production there. We also just did a concert reading at JW3 in London, and we're in conversation to go back and do it there. So we're working very hard to build the show in full and produce it in full, and doing that ourselves.
Hirschfield comments that one unnamed company even suggested he decentralize the Jewish element in the story, a somewhat impossible task when among the top hits are songs like Blame the Jews.
The Jews sabotaged us in the Great War. That's ridiculous.
Oh, it gets better. Keep going.
The Jews are a plague bacillus.
That sounds bad.
I think there's this great quote that I think it's attributed to Mark Twain. I don't know if he actually said it, but he said, "History doesn't repeat, it rhymes." And I think that really informs the way I look at what happens in the modern world. Like there are really specific rhymes. You know, it's the same kind of righteous fervor. And to simplify, we used to be hated for our religion, was considered evil and corrupt and had to be eradicated. Then we were hated for our race, it was considered evil and corrupt and had to be eradicated. And now we're hated for our state. It's considered evil and corrupt and needs to be eradicated. And we just face this pattern over and over and over again. It's even in Jewish tradition to talk about that, but to actually see it happen, it's still disorienting.
An understandable feeling when Rise is not political. It's about the human condition.
I think the main message is hope and resilience, and just know that no matter what, you can always find something to hold on to and to strive to become better.
You think about how much courage it would have taken, right, to do something like that, to be a Jewish girl in Nazi-occupied Europe and to say, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to pretend that I'm not Jewish. I'm going to travel through Nazi territory. I'm going to cross through Nazi checkpoints. I'm going to travel on trains with non-Jews. Any one of these things goes wrong and I'm dead, and I'm gonna carry bread and food and medicine and messages. I'm gonna go back into the ghetto, and then I'm gonna leave the ghetto and do it all again.
It's the sentiment of you are not alone. You have such a strong community. I mean, today everybody here has been so overwhelmingly receptive and positive to this message, and to know that our community is so strong and happy to be here and to continue to tell stories and to continue to be Jewish, and just to say, like, we're here and we're happy to be here, and we are not going away.
Like, as this is equally a lesson about the insidiousness and the persistence of anti-Jewish hatred, it's also manifest, the determination and strength of Jewish resilience and survival.
Reporting from the Zeckelman Family Foundation Holocaust Memorial Center in Metro Detroit, I'm Aaron Porras for the Media Line.